What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to FBA Capital. And today I'm bringing you guys a weekly market breakdown for NAS100. And with that being said, we're about to get right on into it. So we're going to start off on the monthly time frame. And there's going to be a few things I want to point out right now. As I've said in a few of my videos already in the past on my weekly ranges, right now we're in a place in time where price is either going to have a big drop and we're going to start to make our way down to this 9K, 8K area. So that's something I'm keeping in mind for one. And if you also pull a fib from this low, because that's the anchored low that is of importance, we're also in this area in which we're currently rejecting the 62%, and we're also rejecting after clearing these major lows to the left. As you can see, these two lows have a very similar situation in these two lows, but in this case, we ran them. We didn't run these yet, so there's still room to come lower. But now you can see why overall I do have an analysis overall long term that is still going to be bullish based off of where we are in price. Everything's still bullish. We're just in the middle of a big retracement. But the major areas I'm keeping in mind right now are this 12,000 area right in here, because the 12,000 area is a very significant area due to where we are in price. So that 12,000 all the way to, I say, 10K. This is the range that's going to make or break where we go in price, in my opinion. At least it's going to at least show us where we're likely going to go in price. So we have this 10,000 all the way to 12,000 range, and then right in between we have 11,000 right here. So as you can see, we're currently below 11,000. If we close bullish for the month, because the month just opened, we have 25 days, and it already looks like we made a down wick for the month. Potentially, we could keep coming lower, but I'm just going off of what I see. And right now, it does look like we have a chance to potentially reject. So we're going to make our way down to the weekly now. We're going to mark up these weekly highs and weekly lows. We got the weekly high, boom. Then we got the weekly low. As of right now, the weekly low is what I would ideally want to see price make a run for. And that weekly low is sitting around what price? That weekly low is sitting in around 10,600. So we have a mid-figure level, well, big figure level for price to potentially be trading to. So we have this 10,600 area that I am targeting for the week. And why am I targeting that for the week? Because last week was bearish. So in my opinion, the likelihood is price could potentially have a up wick, maybe retrace back into 11,000 before potentially coming lower. Now that's just based off of what is more than likely going to happen based off of probabilities, right? So now that we know we're bearish based off of this, we're going to also pull a fib from that weekly high to that weekly low, and we're going to measure that range in between. So boom, from that weekly high to that weekly low, that is the range we're currently looking in at price. So now we're going to make our way down to that daily. Boom. So now that we see based off the daily and based off the weekly, we want to see a retracement. Now we see that the last day of the week closed bullish. So that gives us a likelihood that price is likely going to want to have another bullish candle. So now we have the weekly highs marked up. Now we're going to mark up these daily highs and daily lows. So this is the previous day's high, previous day's low. We're going to do these on intraday also. But here, let me get rid of all the stuff to make it look a little bit neater. There. So the last daily candle was bullish. So that just means that the next candle could likely also be bullish. And if that's the case, I'm still targeting this area up here, which is around this 11,200 area, for a potential area that I think price is likely going to have movement to the downside. We also have this fair value gap in here on the daily time frame. So that makes sense for why price may want to potentially make its way up there to potentially keep going lower and target this weekly low. Because what do we know? The weekly low could get ran through as soon as the market opens, but if you want to go based off probabilities and get the best potential entry, I would wait for price to potentially keep pushing higher to get you an area that you will have a higher likelihood of being able to sell at, because you'll also be selling within this range. You'll also be selling in an area of premium price, meaning you're selling at the highest price. So now that we have this daily, weekly, and monthly analysis down, we know that we short term want to see price push to go continue long term bearish. We're going to come down to the intraday time frame. We're going to look at the intraday. We're going to mark the previous day's high and previous day's low. Did the slow backwards, get the previous high. We're gonna mark up the previous Thursday's Asian session. And why do I do that? Because Friday Asian session doesn't exist yet because the market closes before the Asian session starts on Friday market close. So we have the Asian session range from the previous day. We're also going to get that 12 a.m. open. Well, nah, I'm not going to put a 12 a.m. open for this because it wouldn't matter in my opinion. So right over here is where the market is going to continue before market closes. So when the market opens, is going to continue filling this in before closing going into Monday morning. So what is one thing I'm going to do right now? One thing I'm going to do is I'm simply going to be pulling a fib from the highs and lows. As you can see, we already have this fib that I just drew showing a potential chance of wanting to have a rejection or wanting to have a potential drop. But in my opinion, it doesn't look like this area is holding up well right now. If we stay below 10,900, I think there's a high chance that price is going to continue to drop and potentially just make its way down to 10,700, just within that range for the most part, because you got to look at the bigger picture. For the most part, this is in a big range, so I wouldn't be betting on a big burst to the top side or to the bottom side just yet, just to be careful. And I'm also keeping